Okay, hello everybody. My name is Todex, and today I thought I would try this fun idea that I saw Soda Pets do. I'm gonna put her link down in the description. Basically, she made a tier list of all the types of goldfish, and I very politely nabbed her ID, and I'm going to do this myself. A little bit of background info. I've been keeping goldfish for over 12 years now. I've got a pond, got a aquarium as well. It all started for me when my grandfather has a very nice pond in his garden, in which he keeps fish. And ever since then, he's also a fisherman. I've became obsessed with fish and fish keeping. But without further ado, let's get into the tier list. Now, the first goldfish we have over here is the common goldfish. I have a couple of these in my pond. They're pretty beautiful. Mine are very dark red, not so much orange, but they're basically, the goat of goldfish. They're very resilient fish as well, so I'm going to put him in S or no, A. Let's put him in A just because of what they are, the common goldfish. Then we have the comet goldfish. I also have a couple of these in my pond. I believe an orange and white one and a plain orange one and a red one. So three in total. They're beautiful fish as well. They love big areas. They need to be able to swim, so that's why I have them in a pond and don't put them in a tank. The same goes with a common goldfish. I know people put these in tanks, but really these are pond fish. You can put them, of course, in a tank if it's large enough, but I wouldn't put them in anything smaller than 100 liters. So the common goldfish, he's going, yeah, I have to put him in the same category as the common goldfish just because of how beautiful they are. Next up, we have the longfin comet. Now that's a fish that is very similar to the common goldfish, but it has longer fins. I've got a couple of these as well in the pond. They're the most beautiful to look at. They have very elegant tails. I've got a white one. I've got a couple orange one. I've got a couple sarasas, which are another sub-breed, but they basically are, um, you know, red and white, and I really love them. So I'm gonna put these in B. Now it seems like this were the pond fish. Um, Besides perhaps the Shumbunkin, I have a couple of these in my pond as well. Real Shumbunkins have the same build as comet goldfish and also the same speed roughly. You can get them with a fantail, you can get them with a comet tail. Um, they're very popular in the fish keeping community. Um, in my ponds, they have a bit more of an bluish tint to them instead of here where you can, see a more white orange example. I'm going to put them in B alongside the longfin comet. People do like to keep these in tanks as well. If you want this in a tank, I would suggest that you pick a Calico Ranchu or a Calico Ryukin instead of a Shubunkin. These fish really do well in ponds. The same goes for this fish as with the other three previously mentioned. If you want to keep them in an aquarium, it should be at least 100 liters because they like to swim as well. Okay, up next we have a Ryukin goldfish. Now, these are very popular, but I don't own one, and that's simply because I don't like these fish. I'm gonna put them in F. The reason why is I just don't like the aesthetic. They have sort of this deformed look. I'm not a big fan of Ryukin goldfish. What I am a big fan of is ranchus. I have one ranchu myself. It's a bit of a lavender slash gray variant. Not a lion head ranchu, just an ordinary ranchu. He's in my aquarium. He's called Cincinnatus after the two-time emperor of the Roman Empire, and I gave him that name basically because he has that gray lavender, almost paint job, that color, which reminded me of an agricultural atmosphere, and that's why I called him Cincinnatus because he's famous for I'm going back to my plow, and I honestly ranchus very popular fish in the fish keeping community. Beautiful fish. It goes in B. Up next, we have the Oranda. Again, one very famous fish in the fish keeping community. This is definitely an aquarium fish. The same goes for the Ranchu, by the way. Um, Beautiful. I have one of those, but more about him later. As for now, I'm gonna put them in B as well. So, guys, keep in mind, this list is my personal opinion. These are not facts, all right? And then we have the red cap oranda. Now, I own one of these. He's in my aquarium. I've got six fish as of now in my aquarium, looking to get some more. But one of them is a red cap oranda. Why do I have this one and not a normal oranda? Um, Basically, there was enough orange already in my tank, and I didn't want to blow my budget on a very beautiful but very expensive panda oranda, so that's why I got a red cap oranda. He's the only one actually as of now who doesn't have a name. That's because I honestly haven't found one yet. Some friends of mine suggested Tancho because of the red cap, which is basically the Japanese name of it. But as for now, he's nameless. So I'm gonna put him in A, slightly above the Oranda, just simply because I like this color more. They're just Oranda's bred to have a white body and a red cap. Up next, we have the bubble eye. Now, this is a fish that can cause you a lot of problems because those eyes, they can definitely pop. Just like a round shoe, they don't have a dorsal fin. Um, I own one of these as well. He's called Nero. Again, one called after a Roman emperor. But they're very hard to keep. Be aware of sharp, pointy things in your tank. Or in your pond if you keep these in a pond. Of course, these are more of an aquarium fish. That's where mine is. And I honestly love mine. I've had two. One unfortunately died. Um, I don't know why, but I'm in love with Nero as of now. He looks very much like the one in the picture. He's orange as well. He has a bit of a curved tail, but he is beautiful. And I'm gonna put the bubble eye in A. Up next, we have the veil tail. This is a classic aquarium fish with a beautiful tail. Yeah, I'm just going to put these in C. And next to the veil tail, I'm going to put the fantail in C as well. These are roughly the same, only the tail differs a little bit. But beautiful goldfish. I myself have a veil tail calico goldfish in my aquarium. He's the biggest fish of them all, and he's called Goldeen. Why? Simply because he looks like a Goldeen from Pokemon. Well, up next we have a telescope eye. I have a Blackmore telescope eye in my aquarium. Now, telescope eyes are really beautiful fish. They can have some trouble with their eyesight because of the way they are bred. However, telescope eyes and definitely butterfly telescope eyes are some of the most pretty fish you can keep in an aquarium. So that's why I will put them in A. Furthermore, we have another pond fish. I thought I had completely finished them, but no, we have the Wakin. This is a very distinctive goldfish breed. Beautiful paint job, this one here in the picture. Really is a pond fish, not an aquarium fish. Uh, Pretty hard to get by here in Belgium where I live. That's why I don't own one. Um, I have owned one previously, a rescue, but unfortunately he died because a heron uh, got to him. He didn't manage to eat him, but he was badly injured, and unfortunately, I had to put him down using some clove oil. You could basically see his intestines from the gaping wound in his side. And up next, we have the Blackmore, a classic. If you have a fancy goldfish aquarium, 9 times out of 10, the starter goldfish you are going to get is a Blackmore. Therefore, I'm putting him in S. My Blackmore is called Brutus. Again, sticking with the Roman names, but yes, I love him. I have two of them actually. I have one in my pond outside. The reason why he is in the pond outside is because my first Blackmore, when I first started at my aquarium, I originally bought two fish to start with. Was this Blackmore and that Calico Veiltail. And the Blackmore immediately started biting my Veiltail, even though both of them were female. So it was really an aggressive fish, and that's why I transferred him to the pond outside. He's the slowest fish of them all in there, so he can't really bother the other fish, and he's thriving in there. You know, he comes up, eats from my hands like the other fish, and yeah, he's doing well. But all right, I own two of them. Up next, we have the pom-pom goldfish. Now, I really like these. They have those pom-poms that grow out of their eyes, but which makes it hard to see for them. Now, here in Belgium, they're pretty hard to get by. I am really looking for one to add to my aquarium, but I haven't been successful so far. But this is really the last fish I want in my aquarium. Then I have 8 fish in them, which is more than enough for me and my filters, really. But yeah, just because of the aesthetics and the chocolate color, you can't really get them in other paint jobs. I'm going to put them in C. Now, another fish that looks a bit like the pom-pom is the froghead. They are a breed, a cross breed, I believe, between was it an Oranda and a Ranchu lionhead? Um, Honestly, I don't own one. Why? Never really found one here in Belgium, but also I'm not that big a fan of their aesthetics. That's why I'm going to put them in F alongside the Ryukin goldfish. Then we have a Shukin. Shukin is a crossbreed between a Ronshu and some type of veranda, I believe. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of them. I'm a bit more a fan of the normal Ranchu. I mean, the tail in comparison with the body is is as long, and they can develop a lot of problems swimming wise. So that's why I will put the Shukin in D. Well, up next we have a pearl scale, very popular aquarium fish. They look like ping pong balls if you keep them well fed, but they also look like fish that have developed dropsy. And honestly, I'm just not a big fan. Um, of pearl scale goldfish. So that's why I'm going to put them in D. Up next, we have another variant of the pearl scales, the crown head pearl scale or the Hama Nishiki. I like these a little bit more than the pearl scale. So what I'm actually going to do is put the crown head pearl scale in D and the normal pearl scale in F. Now, the crown head pearl scale, I've seen some beautiful ones. There's this guy on YouTube called Luke Goldies who has a beautiful lemon head crown pearl scale. I believe he calls him Mr. French Fries. Anyways, he's rather beautiful. And I just think that these crown head pearl scales are a bit easier on the eye than a normal ping pong ball pearl scale. Up next is a celestial goldfish. If you, this is definitely worth a Google. There are beautiful videos about the history of this fish. They have their eyes turned upwards, basically looking at the top of your tank all day. Um, Honestly, I'm in love with this type of goldfish. I have one in my tank. He is called Galileo. Why? Because he always looks up, so towards the light. Galileo looked at the sun and decided that the Earth revolved around the sun and not vice versa. Anyways, for that reason alone, I'm going to put them in a. The reason they are not in S is because they can have a lot of problems. Mine is blind, unfortunately. I bought him blind, but he has managed to thrive in my tank. One thing you will have to do with Celestials, they really prefer sinking pellets over others. So mine, he's quick. He's not that quick to the other pellets. Then we have a butterfly tail. Honestly, these make for beautiful fish, beautiful tails. Um, love them. Up next, we have the curled gill. This is not really a different breed of goldfish, but merely a deformity that can cause the goldfish to get infections rather early on in its life. And it's just not that beautiful to look at. That's why I'm going to put the curled gill in F. Over next, we have the deacon or peacock tail, a bit of an eggfish shaped. Fish can you can keep them in ponds as well in tanks. That was the word I was looking for. They're beautiful fish with a very distinctive tail, but just not my favorites. That's why I'm putting them in D. Then the Lionhead Ranchu. I don't own one of these. Would really love to, but that might be something for in the future when I get my dream tank, when I get one that's bigger. Um, but yeah, beautiful fish going in A. Up next, we have the Panda Telescope. Now, Panda goldfish are some of the more expensive, fancy goldfish that you can buy just because of the colors. And the Panda Telescope, honestly, beautiful fish, definitely belongs in S. Up next, the Watanabe, a beautiful pond fish with a beautiful tail, beautiful paint job. Don't have one of these, goes in B. And last but not least, we have a Tosakin, which is another crossbreed between, I want to say, a Ranchu and a butterfly tail, but I'm not very sure. But I'm going to put them in B for now. Why? Because the butterfly tail, he has just that bit more pizzazz and a Panda telescope eye as well. And it's not really A for me because they are my favorite fish. Looking at my list, I am pretty happy with that. Yeah, pearl scale, both in the bottom two. The reason being that I'm just not a fan of them. Only thing I might switch up is move pompon a category upwards. Yeah. All right, that was it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me rambling on about fish for over 20 minutes. There might be some videos like these in the future. I don't know. I'm just at home with a slip disc now, so that's why I decided to make a YouTube video. If you like it, give it a like or subscribe. We're trying to hit 20 subscribers. All right. Love you guys. See you in the next one.